Hey everyone, Maury Curtis Dunbar here with Painted Studio. Welcome back on a wonderful spring Saturday. I am enjoying my day here in the studio, and I have a lot of epoxy stuff to cast. So the reason I'm doing this is we actually have this opportunity here in our town to for businesses to have booths in the local farmers market 1, 3, or 5 times over the season. And so we are going to do that a couple times. The easiest things for me to do and transport to a farmer's market table are items cast in resin or some of the other small items, the cups and things like that. So in the next couple of weeks, you're going to be seeing me working a lot with resin, creating a lot of castings, and sharing how I create those things. So I have already hey Maddie, hey Bray, nice to see you both. I have already pre-mixed all my epoxy and tinted it because I had to put on masks and I had to glove up specially and do all kinds of stuff to protect this until Monday when they take all the stitches out and everything. After that, I can be a little more flexible. But today we are back in one rubber glove and one hand with a couple finger cuts on it. Yes, I know, they look so attractive. So I'm reaching over here and getting a couple clean finger cuts to put on my fingers. And then we're going to move the camera down and we're going to just start pouring stuff right away. There's not going to be a lot of chatter, not going to be a lot of other stuff. I just have to get the finger cuts on. Yes, this is very attractive, and I actually only need them on 2 fingers because that's the only 2 fingers I use during this. And I got my other glove on. Let's flip the camera down. Now the other thing I'm going to do is freshen up my iPad screen so that I can see the comments and stuff as they happen. Let's make sure I can see them. There we go. Because that way then I know what you're seeing and what you're saying, because when the camera angle is down, I can't always see as well as I'd like. All right, let me move some things around so you can see better. So you can see I have molds that have already been sprayed with my favorite mold release spray, which is called Smooth On. I order it off of Amazon. It's not inexpensive, but a little goes a long way. There's also, you've seen them, I'm sure, at Michael's and home. There's another mold release spray. I can't remember what it's called, but it's liquid and comes in a little pump bottle. It's okay. I like the Smooth On better. All right, and then first we're going to start out with 3 pens that I have sitting here, because clearly I've only made 3, so I need to make some more. I will now show you how this works. So I bought pen inserts. I don't even know what they say on here. I can't even remember what I looked them up under, but I basically looked for ballpoint pen inserts on Amazon, and I bought 30, I don't know, for a few dollars. I don't remember how much. You can buy them also in packs of 100. I thought that was a little ambitious even for me, so I thought I'd start with 30. Now these pens are ballpoint, and you stick them very deep into the reservoir tip of each of these molds. And the reservoir tip protects the tip and allows it to write after you have done the casting. So I just make sure that they're all in correctly, and you can see they're sort of suspended in there because the reservoir here doesn't sit flat to the bottom. It actually helps to center the pen. And these are easy. So we're gonna just pour. I've mixed up, oh, well, let me get back to my stuff. We're using art resin today. You can also use Artsyville's liquid glass that I carry. Both work fine. I just happen to have big jugs of the art resin. They work perfectly for this. Liquid glass does as well. I have sprayed all of my molds, and what you can't see is I've got about 30 molds sitting around here that I have to pour today. So we're going to start just with the pens. And instead of using pigments today, I chose to use metallic powders. That's our silver. And assorted mica powders. So I have yellow luster. I had a blue luster mica powder. What else did I have? What colors did I use? I used, there's a blue iridescent that I used, and I used, where did I get this? This is a pearl pink luster that has copper flip-flop in it. So it's really nice. This color changes color as you look at it in different lights. See, it stirs up. You can see the copper and the pink. So we're gonna just play with these. I normally do pigments. The mica powders are gonna be different. I have no idea. These may make this heavier and it may settle differently than I'm used to. That's okay. It's worth playing with to learn. So I'm just pouring a little bit here. I'm not adding anything to these pens today. I'm just pouring in colors. So let's put a little blue in. Let that level a little bit. Put a little silver. Now my thought is, because the silver is metal, it might be heavy and might want to kind of overtake other colors sort of the way white can. So we're gonna let that settle for a minute. And then if I need to, I can come back and add more colors or more clear or whatever I need to it. So the next one, we're gonna add a little yellow. These cups are really full, so my pours right now are just a little sloppy. And let's put some of this pink in here. Also, my hands are shaking. I'm beginning to wonder if somebody put caffeine in my decaf. Because, yeah, that actually has happened to me several times. People think it's funny to give somebody who doesn't drink caffeine, and all it does is make my hands shake. All right, so that's definitely going to need a little more pigment in here, or a little more epoxy in here. Let that just level a little bit. And then what colors should we use? For this one, we've used yellow in one, blue in one. So let's do blue here. Let's do a little yellow. And yes, I do know I'm spilling everywhere. Let's just, well, that one actually seemed to basically fill with two. So I'm just gonna kind of see what happens here. Let that level out a little too. Scrape a little back into the mold. Yeah, that definitely needs some more epoxy in there because I can see it rising up. The pen is rising up out of the casting. And we put the iridescent in there. And let's see, I can see these have leveled a little bit, and I can see that my first one needs a little more product in there because it's a little thin. It's a little too low in the boat here. Let's watch it level for a second. Okay, good. We're good on those. Now, I can move these, but really all I'm going to do is turn them so they get out of my way, if I can, and then shift where the molds are. These pen molds are the coolest thing. I happen to see somebody else doing something similar, and I'm like, oh my God, the pens are the coolest things. I need to do that. All right, so then we're gonna pour some more flowers. This is our big Peony Mold. I need my rubber bands on it. I've already sprayed this. Now this is the pattern that we're creating, but we're gonna do different colors. So the first thing we're gonna do, let's see if I've got another rubber band. I think each of these are supposed to have two on them. I only grabbed one. It helps keep the mold together so that nothing seeps while you're having it cure. All right, so I'm gonna put a little bit of the pink in here. Let that settle for a sec. Might need a little more in other places. Put a little more in. And then I'm gonna roll my mold around to get the epoxy to kind of go into some different spots, because I don't know if you can see, it probably can't. There's a lot of very, very, very busy petal detail in here. So I want to try to get some of the epoxy into other areas. All right, so I've got that one done, and then we're gonna pour some yellow in it. All right, I got most of the yellow in there. And then the other thing you do is you kind of squeeze the mold a little bit and tamp it to help the bubbles come up. Now I have the last bit in here, and I could go clear, or I could go silver, or I could go with the iridescent. I think what I want to do though is I think I'm just going to go with a little clear. See how that comes out. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to let this bubbles rise up to the surface on it. Again, tamp it down a little bit, squeeze the mold a little bit, work the air bubbles out, but you don't want to squeeze it so the mold pops open and you have all this stuff coming in weird places, like seeping out the edges and stuff. So there's that. And then I think what I might do is just a hint of silver in the back. And I don't know, this will tell me better than anything how the metals settle into stuff, because I'm not sure which is heavier, the mica powder or the metallic powder with the epoxy. And if your weights are different, even if you pour the heavy one on top, it will settle down. Okay, come on. Bubbles coming up, more bubbles coming up. All right, I'm going to set that aside, and if I need to put more in it, I will. We're going to do some tulips. All right, let me get some rubber bands on my tulips. I have no idea which one is which in these. I don't look before I pour. I think I'm actually just going to try to do them all very similarly, because these would make a great set of drawer pulls. There's the third one. Here we go. And honest to God, when I do these, I'm sort of pouring blind, because while I know what colors I'm putting in, I don't always know how they're going to settle and react with each other, especially with the mica powder. So we're going to have a lot of fun checking it out. All right, so here are my 3 tulips. I think what I want to do is pour yellow in all of them. Add some more. And then some more. And then I think we'll pour some of this gorgeous pinky orangey color in there and make them two-toned. And that's enough color for each of them. So my idea is that they're yellow at the tips and a deep color on the body of the petal. Okay, so, oops, I overfilled there. Okay, so then we do the little tamp, 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 squeeze, squeeze, tamp, 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 squeeze, squeeze, squeeze to get the bubbles out, tamp, tamp, squeeze. This one needs more product. I might actually throw just a little yellow, since this is can tell from the size of the mold that this is probably the big one of the 3 tulips. All right, so I've tamped them down, squeezed them, gotten bubbles out. We're going to set them to the side. And in the end, we do torch all of them just to help liquefy and raise the bubbles. All right, what's the next one I feel like doing right now? We have our little heart here. So I think I might do some silver and then fill it with the iridescent, because I think that would be kind of cool looking. Now the cool thing is with molds, you do not have to fill them up all the way. The items that are filled up all the way are important when you need them, but if I needed like a half rose instead of, or a whole half tulip instead of whole tulip, I wouldn't fill my mold all the way to the top. I'd let it, you know, kind of be partially filled, and that would make that's easy enough to do. All right, and let's just pour a little more silver in here. I think that's full enough. That's a pretty darn deep mold, and sometimes I don't fill my molds all the way up because they can get really, really heavy, and sometimes they're just too thick to be useful. Okay, so I also have like candy molds that I use, and I turn these into magnets. So we're gonna pour a bunch of colors into different ones. Clearly I'm gearing it summer with seashells here. And then let's see, what else am I gonna pour in here? Let's pour some blue. And a little blue here. And let's pour some blue on that. Maybe a little blue here. A little blue here. So you see, I am truly kind of going really very randomly. I'm not giving a whole lot of thought to how I'm matching up my colors because I don't have to. Let's see, let's pour some yellow in that. Alrighty, let's come in. We've got silver, where's the pink? So I'm gonna pour some pink on the yellow because I know that looks good together. And I'll throw some pink and blue together. And then let's fill another shell. That. Okay, let's do some iridescent. Let's do that one. These are going to be fun. Now I can use these as drawer pulls or as magnets or anything else that crosses my, you know, tiny little brain. All right, let's see what I've got left in here that I haven't poured another color into yet. Get the last of this yellow out of here and do it on this one. Okay, there you go. And if I wanted a really specific kind of thing to happen, let me find one of my sticks. I can go into these molds with a stick or a toothpick or something like that, and I can kind of just come in here and I can swirl things a little bit. It's good. It works better on bigger things, I think, personally. That is my opinion. I think it works better on larger items rather than small. Those filled in. Let's get the last of this pinky color in this one. And you can see I've over poured some of my molds, and I'll show you what I'm going to do about that in a minute. Okay, so you can see some of my molds are a little over poured or a little overfilled. Watch. I'm going to take this and I'm going to go like this. And what that does is it pushes any extra epoxy into the lowest filled ones. And it doesn't matter if it's messing with the colors. And the fact that I've smeared it on the top of this also is irrelevant because it will peel off once this is cured. Let's see. What else have I got sitting around here that I can pour all the last of this stuff into that I have sitting right here? Let's go with, let's see, what's that one? That one is the Moon Goddess one, so we're going to use that. And literally, I'm going to take everything I have left over and pour it into the last one of these, and then once I get off camera, I'll make some more epoxy and pour some more stuff. So there's all my silver going in. There's that one done. And then let's put this one in. Now normally I would probably be pouring these in 2 by 2 to get a little more swirled thing, but obviously I can't grip the cups the way I need to do that sort of thing. So I'm working on some other ideas. You know, I got to work this all out. Let's get all of the last of this stuff poured in here. Now, if you had questions, Deborah Huffman, yes. Misty, we are using art resin. It's a product I carry. And let's see, this is the product, but I also carry liquid glass. We can use that as well. I'm gonna torch these and I'm gonna flip the camera up and look at all your questions and everything and answer them. So I'm using a little brulee torch, but you can also use a heat gun or a larger one. And of course this one is gonna stick on me because I was playing with it earlier. There we go. And you don't stick the torch down in, you go sideways. You wanna help liquefy this, heat it up. It helps raise and burst bubbles. And then you let it sit for 24 hours before uncasting. Now I will go back and torch these bigger pieces about 4 more times because there's a lot of epoxy in there, and every time I torch it, it raises a few more bubbles, so that's a good thing. All right, so everything is cast. I'm going to pull my glove off, toss it to the side. And then I'm going to flip the camera up and go back over questions. Hi, Tony. Nice to see you. Okay, let's go all the way back to the beginning because I know I missed stuff. Forgive my finger in front of the lens. I can't use my other hand today. Hi, Deborah. Nice to see you. Okay. Oh, yeah. Architectural. Large architectural molds. Misty is asking about searching large architectural molds. Now, honestly, you need to go, that's probably in a company that casts stuff in fiberglass. You're not going to see them that easily, but there are probably some on Amazon. I would also suggest looking at fiberglass manufacturing sites. They might have molds that you can use there. Okay, the list of the things that we use today. The molds are random. I've gotten some off of Etsy. I've gotten some off of eBay. I've gotten some off of Michael's. So that's that part. It's the epoxy that we use is art resin. It is a 2-part epoxy that requires 24 hours to cure. After 24 hours, it's soft and it's hard enough to pop out of the molds, but you'll still notice it's flexible. Within 72 hours, it's cured nice and hard, and it's food safe. That's one of the big things with art resin. It's non-toxic and food safe, which is a big thing for me. Our liquid glass, it's the same thing. 2-part epoxy, equal measure, little more odor to it because it's not completely zero VOC, but it is VOC compliant. And it smells more like a countertop epoxy. Again, not a strong odor. I've had some that knocked me out of the room. And it dries hard. It is food friendly, but the manufacturers don't say it's completely food safe, whereas Art Resin does say it's completely food safe, if that's a big difference to you, because I use these on countertops. I use both of them. I've had no problems with any of them. The other things that I've used today, I used, let's see, this is gold. This is from Sep Leaf. It's metallic. It's metal powder. In silver, it's actually aluminum powder. I have used mica powders, and mica powders, you can use Pearl-Ex, you can use whatever you have on hand. Mine, this just happens to be one I got from Blue Pearl. And so, you know, you go to Michael's, you can get that. I do not carry mica powders at this time. If I did, I'd be telling you. And then we mix it all up, the sticks, everything you can get from the craft store. The resin are the resins that I carry. Like I said, I love my art resin. I love liquid glass. They're both on our website at paintedstudio.com. Or you can, if you have any questions that I'm not making clear right now, you can call me at 630-251-6996. That is our studio number. It's also my cell phone. So yeah, you get a hold of me pretty easily. Misty, as you can see, this is the 24 to 48 hour dry time. I have some of the other 10-minute that is a UV cure, and we'll be talking about that when we do the unmoldings on Tuesday. We're closed Monday and Tuesday in the studio, even though you can still order and make stuff, do stuff online. But Monday I get this thing off, and then they put me in a softer brace, so the unmolding is easier, because I'm going to tell you, yesterday, with one good hand, it took me half the day to get this out of the mold, because I can't pull with this hand. So I'm like holding the mold like this and pulling with my fingers. So I need more fingers available before we do the pulling out of the molds. My arm is not in a cast, it's in a bandage. I had hand surgery last week. So 7 to 10 days, I get the stitches out. 10 days is Monday, so they're going to take the stitches out. Yay. And then I get to be in a different cast. You guys have seen this. Misty missed all the last one when they did this hand last month. But this is what it'll look like, basically, when I'm done. All right. Hey, Guerrera. Oh, I'm sorry. Joanne is your first name. You just happened to lift your name backwards. Nice to see you. And gosh, I appreciate everybody popping in. Yes, paintedstudio.com is our website. All one word, paintedstudio.com. And we've got everything there. And oh my gosh, is my doctor going to be ticked? Nah. He's just impressed that I lived through it being on this long, because he said most people take 2 to 3 weeks off. Not me. I took 7 days and I was climbing out of my skin. I needed to be back in the studio. Okay. Thank you, Misty. You guys are so cute. Can we see this later too? Yes, I will post it to the page once the live is over. And then you can fast forward over all the babble about my hand surgery, because it's really not that interesting. And watch what I do. And I will be back on Tuesday to be in here and doing a whole lot of uncasting. I'm going to sign off with you now, because I got a lot more epoxy to mix and I've got a lot more molds to pour. It's so great having you here. I appreciate all of you being with us. Again, the website is www.paintedstudio.com. Our phone number is 630-251-6996. We will be live again on Tuesday when you see me pop all this stuff and probably everything else that I'm going to pour as soon as I get off here and put some more stuff on me and make more molds. Because I still have leaves, I have stars, I have fairies, I have a whole skull, because you saw me do the resin skull, you know, the candle holder that I did earlier. I have another one of these bottles to cast, and if you're watching me for the first time, this is how the bottle comes out. It's a lid and a jar. So there's the bottle, there's the lid. It casts perfectly and it screws on, which I think is just the coolest thing. So we're gonna have, That was you after your knee surgery. Yeah. I didn't, just so you all appreciate how crazy some of us are when it comes to doing our work. I was 9 months pregnant, hanging on my sister's curtain rod with my feet on her bathtub ledge to stencil around her shower, her bathtub stall as my Christmas present to her. So truly, me mixing some epoxy with a bandage on my hand is nothing compared to some of the other crazy stuff I've done. All right, everybody, you guys have a great Saturday. Thank you all for popping in with me. I really, really appreciate it. I haven't told anybody the story about the pregnant painting in a long time. I had forgotten about that until we started talking about the dumb things we did. Have a good Saturday, everybody. I'll see you on Tuesday. Have a good one. Bye-bye.